Welcome to this short seminar called The Business Model, the Heart of the Business Plan. My name is Lori Elliott and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Shuja. This seminar is part of the open seminars that we provide on our Biz Navigator platform for youth entrepreneurs. Let's take a look at what you'll learn in this particular seminar. First of all, we're going to describe the role of the business model in an enterprise's strategy and operation. We'll then take a look at identifying the customer element of the business model. We'll also look at identifying the process element, then the network and channel element, the financial element, and finally we'll look at steps to develop your business model. Now let's just reflect on what a business model is. It answers the question, how do you logically create that value? And when we talk about value, we're talking about the value, the products or services that you bring to your clients. A lot of this terminology in this particular seminar comes from a seminar entitled Today's and Tomorrow's Business Context that is also open on our platform. So if you have not had a chance to go through that short seminar, you may choose to do so you're more well acquainted with the terminology in this particular seminar. Anyways, the definition for a business model is it defines the value creation priorities of an actor, in this case your enterprise, in respect to the utilization of both internal and external resources. It defines how the actor relates with stakeholders such as actual and potential customers, employees, unions, suppliers, competitors, and other internal groups. It takes account of situations where the actor's activities may A, affect the business environment and its own business in ways that create conflicting interests or impose risks on the actor, or B, develop new, previously unpredicted ways of creating value. Now, when we talk about the business model, there are actually different levels of structure that you put in place when you're forming your organization or when you're looking at changing or revitalizing an existing organization. Two dimensions that we will be dealing with throughout the short seminars is strategy and operations. And this chart just reflects where some of the elements that you will build as you are working towards developing your strategy and structure for your organization, where they fit. First of all, you're going to develop your corporate strategy, which involves your vision, your mission, your values, your key enablers, things like that. Then next you will work on developing your business model, which this seminar covers. And you'll notice that it actually straddles strategy and operations. That again is because it's a logical view of how you're going to accomplish your strategy. Then also other elements that are important in order to develop a successful business is your business process model and your organizational model. But both of these are really considered more operations than strategy. When we talk about a business model, it can be applied to different levels within an organization. It can be a business model for a project. The project might be a new venture. It might be a subsidiary that you're thinking of starting. It may be a key part of one of the core processes of your business. So you can actually develop a business model out of that. Now, what a business model ends up being is a business case or business concept document that you can pass out to demonstrate to people how you're going to make the business work. Also, besides the project, you can look at it at a process level, a product or service level, or at the enterprise level. And really a discussion that we're going to talk about applies to all of the levels, but in terms of frameworks, I'm thinking more of the enterprise level. The central question for your business model that you need to answer is, how do we fulfill our purpose to serve our clients in a sustainable way while making a profit and sharing the benefits with our stakeholders? Now, let me define some elements of this question. First of all, what do we mean by sustainable? Now, when I think of sustainable, I think of a self-sustaining system like Earth. Okay, it is designed to continually grow, evolve, adapt, expand. And that's what we're really looking at when we talk about a business, because if you remember in the short seminar, Today's and Tomorrow's Context, we said that an organism, an organization, an enterprise needs to be viewed as a living organism. So some of the characteristics that you'll note is that you should have growth coming automatically out of a self-sustaining model. It should multiply, meaning that what you put in, you get more out. In other words, profit, if you want to think of it that way. Adaptation. It has to be able to adapt and flow with both the internal and external elements that are going on in your business and around your business. And then here I have revolution or evolution. Revolution happens when maybe your company is dying off and you need to do something to get it moving quickly and to get it started and to change things dramatic. Evolution is more of an ongoing process where you might see incremental changes versus huge changes in the nature of your business. I also want to define what is profit. And really, when we think of profit in terms of business, we think of money. We think of the amount of money that we make where our revenue exceeds our expenses. But a simple definition is it's a gain or positive increase. Now, I want to broaden the definition of profit, not to just refer to money. Profit can happen in different spheres. The financial sphere, socially, for example, your organization, as it's doing business, it actually creates connections that help it to do more business later on. Spiritual, the spirit of your company, what motivates your people. As your people experience success within themselves in the business, and the business also experiences success, there tends to be a strong motivation internally for people to do their work and to contribute more. So you're actually gaining capital, what we call spiritual capital. Resources, for example, as you buy more equipment, those resources become assets, for example. Could be machines, could be new technology that you're getting involved with. Again, those things can be a gain for you because they might enable you to do other things in the future. Intellectual, knowledge, all of that means that might help you with your competitive advantage. So as you're doing business, you should see an increase in each one of these elements. Political. Now, we don't mean political necessarily in the formal sense, but political in terms of having the ability or the power to influence things, influence decisions in the industry, influence even government or the community to move in a certain fashion that benefits both you and your stakeholders. And then, of course, physical capital or physical profit. As you buy more land, you have factories, you have facilities, those things become physical assets that are a part of the company. So actually, again, the idea is that you should always see a form of profit in all of these dimensions, and I haven't necessarily covered all of them. Also, now let's look at what we call, who are our stakeholders? And this is what we call our C5 stakeholder sphere. First of all, you have your corporate. That's really your internal. That includes your employees, owners, could be shareholders if it's a public company, could be investors, all of the people, senior management, all of the people involved in owning, in a sense, a piece of the company. So essentially, whether that's official or unofficial. Then we have what we call our collaborators. And our collaborators are people who help us deliver or develop the product that we're delivering to the client. Then we have channels. And channels are essentially groups, people, organizations, or things that help us deliver the product that we've developed or produced to our customers. And then, of course, we have our customers. Our customers are those people who are paying for the service or product that we're providing. And then we have the larger community, which may include the neighborhoods from which your employees come from. Could be the city, could be the government, could be the state, could be environmental organizations, could be animals. It's all a part of the ecology. And if you remember in the other seminar, we talked about, again, your business ecosystem. So this is really a different view of your business ecosystem, just focusing on the stakeholders. And this, again, is very important because we want to answer that question. How are we going to fulfill our purpose to serve our customers while making a profit and sharing the benefits with our stakeholders? Now let's take a look at the business model elements. There are 4 key areas, and they all revolve again around that question. How do we fulfill our purpose to serve our clients while making profit and sharing the benefits with our stakeholders? We have the customer element, we have the process element, we have the network and channel element, and then financials. If we look a little bit closer, our customer element answers these questions. Who are our customers? What do we offer each of our customer segments? How do we relate to our customers over time? Or we could say customer support, customer feedback, customer follow-up, customer engagement. There are a lot of ways to say that. When we look at the process element, we want to answer these questions. What key activities are involved in running the business? Who will be the people groups responsible for the key activities involved in running the business? For example, if you're building a car, you might have design groups who design the car. You might then have people who are in charge of developing the manufacturing process. Then you might have a group of people who are responsible for the application of that manufacturing process in assembly. Then you might have another set of people who are in charge of prepping the vehicle for transport. Next question. What are the outputs from the key activities involved in running the business? For each activity, there should be an output that leads to the delivery or the development of a product or service for your customers. And then also, what are the major or key resources that we use to run the business? The next category, network and channel element. With whom do we partner, align, and or collaborate to develop or deliver the product? What and who do we use to reach our customers? Now that again can be a group of people that you're collaborating with. They create the channels. For example, if you're in software, for example, you might have vendors who actually sell your software products to their customers. Okay, so that might be an example of a channel. But also another channel might be just the fact of where your product is placed, where you're able to display it. And finally, the final category is financial. What are the key costs, including fixed, variable, direct and indirect costs of running the business? And most of your stockholders will say, how do we generate the revenue? We could also call that revenue streams. So again, we've kind of covered the 4 different areas: customer, process, network and channel, and financial. Now, those are all the parts and elements that you have to figure out in order to develop your business model. Here's just a simple process that you can follow, and obviously you can adapt it to your own needs. First of all, you want to write down what you know about your business model. Next, you want to research to improve and fill your gaps. Then you want to generate your first business model draft and pass it around to trusted key stakeholders for input. Now, for those of you who are new to business, this might mean that you need to sign non-disclosure agreements with individuals or organizations who are going to give you input to make sure that they do not take your business model idea and then use it for their own purposes. Because really, this is what we call intellectual or competitive advantage for your company. Okay, so after you've passed it around, you actually want to review what they've said and update several times. Then when you feel comfortable, you want to finalize your first business model. Now, I always tell people you're going to have a business model that you're attaining to in order to reach your strategy. But many new and emerging companies, or those who are shifting, have we all, in many cases, have what we call limited resources. So what we want to do then is also develop a version of the business model that allows us to take immediate or imminent action. So for example, you might have a business model that will actually take you maybe 3 years or 2 years to implement. But what you want to do is you want to scale it down so that you can actually start implementing something within 3 to 6 months that helps you make that change to move along to the business model. So essentially, for example, your business model requires that you have a national distribution channel, okay? But currently, you know that you have access to a national distribution channel, but in order to pipe through it and to put your products through it, it's going to take you 2 or 3 years to implement it. An immediate implementable version might be that you concentrate on one region and implement it well there so that you can replicate it throughout the rest of the nation. That's an example of developing something that's immediate or imminent and implementable. And it's a version of your business model. It doesn't change your business model, but it's taking a piece of that and scaling it down so that you can immediately respond to the dynamics of the business context. We have covered all of the topics in this particular seminar. Let's just do a quick summary. First of all, the role of the business model. We said that the definition answers the question, how do we logically create value for our customers? Value meaning products or services that we provide. When we talked about fit, we said that the business model fits somewhere between the strategic and operational levels and comes between developing your corporate strategy and your business process model. I mentioned that there were different levels that a business model could be applied to. It could be applied to a project, a process, a product, or the full enterprise. I clarified that the central question that you are trying to answer when you are developing your business model is, how do we fulfill our purpose to serve our clients in a sustainable way while making profit and sharing the benefits with our stakeholders? I define sustainability as something being creating a system that's self-sustaining, that will grow, adapt, evolve, and also multiply. I mentioned that profit is more than just the amount of money that we gain from revenue exceeding expenses. It can be profit in terms of intellectual property, spiritual capital, social capital, political capital, resource capital. And when talking about stakeholders, I describe different levels. There's the corporate level, collaborators, channels, customers, and also our community. We also discussed the business model elements, which included customer, process, network and channel, and financial. And finally, we talked about the process to develop a business model, which really had 4 elements out of the 9 steps. One is that you're going to draft the document, you're going to review it, you're going to finalize it, and then you're going to adapt it so that you can implement it immediately. Let me recommend a few resources that you can use as you're working through developing your business model. The first is how to describe and improve your business model to compete better. This is a draft document of 20 to 30 pages that provides more detail about fleshing out your business model. And then the book that's available on the whole process is called the Business Model Generation Book. It actually has a lot more detail plus examples that will help you in developing your business model. The first document is free. The second one is a book that you have to purchase. But it's by the same author. They're both by the same author, so it's a good resource. You can gain access to these documents from the Biz Navigator platform. Thank you, and I hope to see you in our next seminar.